Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion Part 1. Child, this was a good one, honey. And baby, when I tell you they triggered me all up and through, my attitude was so on 10 watching the first part of this reunion. First of all, Garcelle, you need a crew. I don't know who we need to recruit. I'm not sure who we need to see. You know what? Send Ebony K. Williams over there in defense of Garcelle to get the girls together for their microaggressions. And then let's send Kenya over there to gather the girls in their wigs. And then let's backdoor and send Nene because Nene gonna check them. Then let's send Phaedra high-class parks because when Phaedra gets over there and gets to reading them down, honey, they would have nothing to say. And also, I just want to add a non-sister. Let's bring back Kim Richards, okay? I don't know if this is her last name or not, but let's bring back Kyle and Kathy's sister because Kim is the only one that can get Renna together. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the reunion first opens up, Renna, she meets up with Erica to talk about the reunion, right? So Erica was like, I had a dream. Okay, Martin Luther King, let's get into it. She said she had a dream that some shots were taken, some shots were fired, and there are gonna be some winners and some losers. Well, child, you got that part right. So then Erica goes, remember when you called me and said the girls had flipped on you? Renna goes, well, that'll come up in the reunion. I told y'all Renna tipped Erica off when she came to the initial dinner after Sherlock Sutton had started picking up on her scent. Y'all remember that? And I said, I bet for a fact, I bet you any kind of money that Erica was already well aware that things were happening and things were being said. And that's because Renna and her lips, they tipped her off. I knew it, y'all. I knew it. So as we go into the reunion, first let's touch on the fashions. I didn't like any of them. The fashions were not fashioning. The hair was all over the place. I didn't like it. I mean, it didn't do anything for me. Now, what I did love were Sutton's shoes, okay? Because I told y'all before that I'm a little bit of a shoe whore. The higher the heel, the closer to God. Like, I love heels. I love shoes. So Sutton's shoes, they did something for me. But the rest of these ladies, child, epic fail. Moving forward. So before they get started, Andy is doing all of the reunion etiquette and whatnot. Hello. Oh, you look stunning. Hey, Dorit. Is that from She by Sheree? You know how he like to do, child. So then he tells them that they're in a simulation of Kathy's backyard. And I was looking and I'm like, this don't look nothing like Kathy's backyard. Well, child, maybe it's because I've never been in Kathy's backyard. But judging from the pictures, it didn't look like Kathy's backyard. But maybe that's just me, child. That's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. He's like, so do you think Kathy's going to notice where she is? Absolutely not. Child, Kathy don't even know where she is on any given day. Kathy is always lost. Do y'all hear me? So then Andy goes straight into talking to Erica. He asks how she felt about addressing things with the viewers. She's like, I'm very happy to do so. There are certain things that I can't say. Translation, certain lies I can't remember. But I'm going to be happy to tell every part of the story that I can. Translation, I will try to remember the lies I told, so bear with me. That's exactly what's happening. So she's like, I do not have all the answers. So Andy goes, what is the biggest misconception you think people have about you? She said, they think I'm cold and I lack empathy. So then she said, the truth is I do. And anyone who was wronged, I want them to be made whole. Andy said, you're talking about the victims, right? She's like, yes, I'm talking about the alleged victims of Tom's alleged wrongdoings. Erica, the victims aren't alleged. Okay, they are very much real. I'm sure you know this. The fact that you won't even recognize that the victims are victims proves to me that I need to continue to wear my North Face jacket while I watch you. Okay, brr, it's cold in here. Like, girl, please, these are actual victims. You are an ice queen. I mean, check out the alleged victims on The Housewife and the Hustler. They're still suffering. They're very much victims. Girl, talking about some dang on alleged. That just sounded stupid. Girl, oh my God. So he asked, so what was it like watching the show back? She said it was hard. Yes, especially when you forgot your lines at that last dinner with the fraud four. I'm pretty sure it was hard. She said, I felt angry with the ladies when I watched the show back. Some of them were for me and some of them were against me. No, you had Renna kissing your butt, Kyle acting fake, Dorit acting lost, and then you had Sutton, who was on the case, but you were on her case. Let's keep up. Moving forward. Andy asked if there are any other ladies besides Sutton that contacted an attorney. And Crystal said, I did. She said, but I consult my lawyer about a lot. Well, Crystal, weren't you siding with Erica? How come we're just now hearing about you contacting an attorney? It's because a lot of you wanted it to all be on Sutton's shoulders. You didn't mention anything about that during the season. So then Erica goes, yeah, I was advised by my lawyers to quit the show, but I said no because, I have nothing to hide. No, hun, you need the work and you need the check. Okay? She's like, I'm not a quitter. I wasn't going to run. But I love how the cameraman kept panning over to Sutton. Did y'all notice that? I love how Sutton looks at Erica when she presents her monologue. She squints her eyes a little bit to see through the BS. Y'all just got to rewatch it. Rewatch the reunion part 1 and dissect it. As a matter of fact, I think I may make a TikTok where I dissect the reunion, because I got a lot of things to say, honey. But y'all, yeah, Sutton was squinting them eyes like, girl, I see straight through you. I know that's right. Moving forward. Andy said, how much did, not having your former husband's income, how much did that come into play? Because this is your only job, right? She's like, yeah, it is now, unfortunately. And I think about that now all the time. But back when we were filming, I was literally trying to survive. Erica, you're not on an episode of Good Times, scratching and surviving. You were riding around and getting it in a brand new Range Rover and eating caviar on gold plates with gold chargers. Real gold. Girl, please. I'm sure the people on Skid Row would love this level of surviving. Girl, you just say any old thing. Just anything. It doesn't make any sense. Andy said, well, the people want you fired. She said, no, they need to let the legal process play out. Just watch me. Girl, I don't care if you go or if you stay. The bottom line is you're a liar. Allegedly. Honey, because, she likes to use that word. Moving forward. So then Andy goes to Sutton. He asked her about her face roller. I'm like, child, not the lint roller turned face roller. But no, sometimes, people need to calm themselves down, honey. It's a whole sensory thing. I understand. So they show us the highlight of Sutton this season. And he asked about her mom, the fighting with Crystal and how her mom reacted. And then he asked her about her store. So she said, yeah, my store, my business. And then she looked directly at Renna. Here's Renna. You looked at me? You pointed at me? She said, yes, I did. Andy said, well, you did shade her. Here go Renna with the convenient amnesia. Did I shade you in an interview? Flashback to Watch What Happens Live, where Renna is in this Halloween getup and she's saying that Sutton doesn't have a business. She has a store. Somebody please comment down below and tell me what's the difference. Like, what? Girl. Renna said, well, you had a store. I didn't really consider it a business at the time. Renna, you are a tacky dressing, Party City wig wearing hater. Okay? A store isn't a business? Since when? You might want to call up Saks and Neiman's and tell them that. Child, girl, what? Oh, child, Renna might need to take a break permanently. Moving forward. So then Andy brought up Renna's daughters and Sutton's daughter's play date. And Renna said, she didn't feel great about the things that Sutton was saying. Sutton said, look, they just grew up a little bit differently. My kids didn't grow up with Hollywood parents. I didn't mean it in a bad way. Child, she don't want her kids picking up your kids' bad habits. I mean, we as parents do that all the time. I don't want my son playing with little Timmy because little Timmy, he bites. Okay? And then you go over there and you start biting and now they calling me. Okay, because you and Timmy don't have the same issues. So now I got to go pick you up from school, take off from work, get an attitude. And honey, it's a whole fool. That's exactly why she didn't want your kids playing together, even though they're adults. Moving forward. So then Kyle said, Sutton almost burned the house down with this janky fireplace I had in the house and whatnot. The house was on the market, but they took it off to do some repairs. So Kyle is laughing the whole time that this exchange is happening. But in my mind, I was thinking, Kyle is laughing now, but somehow this will be on next season and she will bring it up every chance she gets so that she got something to talk about. Because y'all know Kyle ain't had a storyline since Kim left. So Sutton said, well, we're going to court. Here go Erica. Oh, good. Someone else. Child, that is civil court. You in criminal court and her in civil court, honey, that's two different animals. Child, y'all are a mess. So Sutton also reveals that her boyfriend broke up with her on Valentine's Day. Oh, Sutton. His excuse was, I can't. Well, child, don't feel bad, sudden, honey. Looking at him, I could tell that he wasn't the one, okay? He didn't even have his jacket on him, right, child? Don't even worry about it. So she goes, yeah, I was just so devastated, but now I'm dating. Here go Erica. Who are you dating? Because I don't have no dates. Well, maybe that's because your personality sucks, okay? Get the legal trouble out of the way first before you try to throw some shade. Moving forward. So then we move on to Garcelle and her highlights of the season, and Andy said, now this right here, y'all, let me just say that I'm really about to get into it, okay? Because now we're getting to the heavy hitting subjects, okay? So then we move on to Garcelle and her highlights. Andy said, you were really vulnerable in Del Mar. Were there any follow-up questions? She said, yeah, you know, Rena and Dorit came up and asked me, how did it feel? How did it feel? How did it feel to see you eventually crack under pressure after they broke you down all season? Girl, what are you talking? Like, what? How did it feel? I don't know. Maybe that was just me, but I did not like that. Don't come up to me asking, how did it feel for me to cry and break on national TV and say, somebody, please see me. Please see me. I just want to be seen. I want to be accepted. That felt great, I'm sure. You little idiots. Ugh. So Andy asked if they felt differently after her opening up. Here's Dorit. Garcelle is one of those people I felt an immediate bond towards. I mean, you know, I feel like Garcelle can be passively provocative. So, you know, she really gives you no chance to defend yourself. And I feel like her opening up, it was real and it was raw. And I felt like Garcelle, again, was being passively provocative to be relevant or to be interesting. Baby, what she say that for? Interesting. Says the one that copies an accent to be more interesting. Relevant. You pick up those collaborations every season to be relevant enough to even film. If it weren't for your constant gabbing, we wouldn't even know you were in the room. So how can you say that she's saying things just to stay relevant? It's almost like you're saying she has to shuck and jive to be able to sit at the table with all of you. Garcelle has a career that spans decades, honey. Her name alone is legendary. What are you talking about? Nobody knew you and your in and out accent and your cultural appropriations through your fashions until you got on this show. Okay? Dorit, don't make me read you down. Please don't. I'm really trying to refrain from cussing you out through this review because the way that you treated Garcelle, you and Rena with your microaggressions and your yelling and your screaming and you acting like Erica isn't a bully when we all know who the bully of your franchise is. Girl, please. So Garcelle said, let's just get this straight. I don't need to do anything to be relevant. Dorit said, well, you know, you take jabs. I confront you and you make it seem like I'm coming for you. You were coming for her because you needed a moment to stay relevant. Okay, girl, keep up. So then Dorit goes, you know, I used the wrong choice of words. Garcelle said, yes, and I'm going to need an apology for that. I know that's right, honey. Rena, where are you? Own it. She needs to own it. So then she said, I brought it up. Okay. You didn't give me a chance to apologize. It's been months. The only reason you recognize it now and recognize that you used the wrong word is because Twitter ate you alive. Let's just keep it real. Okay. Had we been hush, you would not be saying anything to this day. And none of what you're saying is sincere anyway, so I really don't even want to hear it. You talk too much, as previously stated. So Garcelle said, you know, it was wrong and unnecessary, and here's Dorit. Trying to act like Garcelle is slow to comprehend, which I hate. Don't ask me if I understand something. I understand you very well. I understand very well. I comprehend very well. Comprehension is on 1,000. I don't need you to tell me or ask me afterwards if I understood. Please do not do that. She goes, I need you to understand something. You know, the word bully, it popped into my head because the element of a bully is incessive. Girl, say what now? No, I mean incessant. She's like, yeah, and you know, the jabs were incessant. Girl, you a whole lie. Just trying to justify your disgusting behavior. So Andy reads comments and questions from the viewers. One asked Dorit, why isn't Erica deemed a bully? After she went off on this person, that person, and everybody and their mama. And then they commented on how Dorit tried to paint Garcelle in the angry black woman stereotype, and they didn't think it was cool. They thought it was a new low even for her. Did y'all notice how Kyle tilted her head as to say, and did? Okay, when Andy said she painted Garcelle out to be an angry black woman. Baby, Kyle tilted her head to the side. Kyle's expression and her body language, they tell a story. So on the second part of the reunion, just watch how Kyle interacts with her eyes, her facial expressions, how her shoulders move, how her head tilts to the side. She's telling us something through the screen, honey. Kyle, I'm watching you, okay? Moving forward. She claims it wasn't an attempt. Honey, she whizzed right on past that, right? No, Andy, you need to stop her and ask her, well, what was it? If it wasn't you painting her to be the angry black woman, then what were you doing exactly? Like, stop her and ask the hard-hitting questions. I understand. Everybody wants to know what is happening with Erica Jane. Yes, we want to know. But Erica gonna tell those same stories about those same cars flipping over and over and over. We really want to get into everything that's happened throughout the season. Do not allow these women, okay, to whiz past things that are hurting Garcelle. Don't do that. Okay, because Andy got me looking at you sideways, and we already know how you do. So she goes on to lie about the element of incessantness and how Erica's were isolated incidents. Really? Well, clearly you've never interacted with the bully, but of course your friend Erica isn't a bully. Child, y'all please fire Dorit. Her and Rena are just as bad as Erica to me. I mean, I need all three of them to go. I mean, we really could just make a clean slate, because after a while, watching this makes you angry. And I don't want to watch a show that's supposed to be about lavish living in Beverly Hills and 90210 zip codes, and I have to be angry. I don't want that. So, I mean, we really could just revamp. Shout out to Andy. Moving forward. So finally, after talking in circles and whatnot, she throws out sorry. Then immediately after that, she hits her with a but insincere. Okay? She goes, but Garcelle, you say a lot in your confessionals, but you don't say it to our face. So Rena is like, I have to agree with Dorit. Shut up, Rena. Okay, so since we're talking about what we do in confessionals and whatnot, let's not forget that Kyle literally questioned everything Erica said in hers, never to her face. Let's also not forget how Rena called Garcelle a bitch, okay, but never to her face. All of y'all do that, so cut it out. So then Garcelle said, but we all do that. So Rena was like, no, but you do it the most. So her and Rena are tag teaming Garcelle about her confessionals. Garcelle is like, I can't win. You say I'm saying too much, and then I'm not saying enough. So then even Andy had to chime in, and he's like, well, you want her to be direct, but when she's direct, you accuse her of throwing darts. Well, baby, we know Dorit didn't like that. Dorit was like, Andy, her throwing jabs and a smile at the end, that's her being passive aggressive. That is not her being real. Oh, shut up, Dorit. Garcelle said, I said you talk too much and you go for something like my integrity. You call me a bully. She goes, well, you know what? You apologize about the bully. So let me just put that off to the side. But you come for my integrity. Rena said, really? Oh, we're going to put it to the side. Really? Garcelle is like, pipe down, Rena, honey. We'll get to it. Baby, she feeling herself with this little ponytail. So she piping up saying, don't tell me what to do. I'll do whatever I want to. Thanks. Girl, please. Garcelle is like, I can say anything I want. They're like, you know, we all can. So, child, they're going back and forth and back. It's so juvenile. And Dorit and Rena are giving very much, you can't sit here. They're giving very much can't sit here tease. Okay? Y'all need to grow up. Rena said, you don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me a thing, Garcelle. Oh, yeah. How dare the black woman tell you, Rena, of all people, what to do? Moving forward. Andy wanted to check Crystal's pulse, honey, because she wasn't saying nothing. So he asked her what she thought. She's like, well, you know, speaking of what they're saying about the confessionals and her throwing jabs, I just wanted to say something about her not saying she knows me at my dinner. We didn't know you, Crystal. I don't care what you have to say. We didn't know you. That is the truth. Those are factual statements. She didn't get, I mean, it was no shade. You were sitting at a table with Erica. You said, well, we didn't know Sutton. I mean, I didn't even know who she was. I mean, I didn't know her. So Garcelle just made it clear that she didn't know you either. What is wrong with that? Girl, you failed. Anywho, moving forward. So Dorit goes, I'm glad you brought that up, but that wasn't the jab that I was talking about. Garcelle tries to interrupt her, right? So she tries to interject. And Dorit screams, let me finish, Garcelle. Yeah, I had to take a little minute to collect my thoughts. Who in the hell do you think you are talking to? Does she look like Jagger? Does she look like your daughter? Who are you yelling at? Oh, no, ma'am, honey. Who in the hell left the gate open? Because let me tell you something. If Dorit would have screamed at me in that way, and you know, Garcelle, she kind of just chuckled a little bit. But Kyle's eyes got really big, like, oh my God, what? She's like, I'm trying to make a point. This is the second time you've cut me off. Dorit needs to go. Okay, Dorit needs to go. Garcelle, I know you are trying to make sure you aren't viewed as the angry black woman, but just lean in one good time. Okay, you just got to lean in one time. You got to teach people how to treat you. Okay, once they realize they can't play in your face, they will no longer do that. You see how Erica pipes up on them and they cower down because they know not to go there, because they know she's going to lean in and talk real definitively and she's going to say some old ignorant stuff, and it puts fear in their heart. I'm not saying you need to scare them, but you really need to lay into her because she feels that she can play you because she has backup. Clearly, Dorit wasn't listened to as a child. Clearly. Because, I mean, she talks for hours upon hours about one thing. And then on top of that, you're yelling and screaming to be heard. There was no need for that. Child. Ooh, honey. So then she said, I need to make a point. You said you were Team Sutton, but why didn't you say that to Erica's face? Why didn't you say, guys, I'm Sutton's friend. Don't talk about my friend in front of me. Garcelle said, why are you even talking about things that you weren't even there for? Honey, nothing. Dorit, your tantrum fell flat. Andy moved right the hell on. So you did all of that for nothing. So Andy goes, yeah, I want to move on to Rinna and Garcelle. Child, you did all that and got absolutely nothing. Oh, child, that was the highlight of the reunion. Okay, do y'all hear me? So Andy asked if Rinna feels like she's earned back her friendship with Garcelle. Rinna said, you'd have to ask Garcelle that. She said, I appreciate it, but I don't trust her. Erica said, do you want to punish her because of Denise? Are you the host or is Andy the host? Erica, nobody's asking you anything. You were piping up a little bit too much all up and through this first part. We're going to get to you. She said, no, I'm done with that. I feel like Denise can fend for herself. Rinna said, so when are you going to let it go? When she feel like it. And what else is going on? She going to let it go when she feel like it. Don't worry, Garcelle. I'll get her together. I'm speaking directly to you, Rinna, whenever she feels like it. So then Garcelle said, I have. I said, I'm going to let it go right now. I just let it go just now. And let me just say this, y'all. I had an aha moment just now, mid-review. Garcelle is not a reader. She's a blunt, questioning, ask, inquiry minds want to know type of woman, but she's not a reader. I mean, it's not in all of us, okay? But sometimes you have to get in there, okay? Sometimes you got to go there. Child, reading is fundamental, okay? And that's all I'm going to say on that. Moving forward. Andy asks, Garcelle, what does she want Rinna to do to take up for her? Because they were talking about that Rinna doesn't take up for Garcelle. So she said, well, when we were at Rinna's lip kit lunch and we had our little incident, for lack of a better word, I thought maybe Rinna would say something. I mean, anything. She gets this smug look on her face, right? I'm talking about Rinna. And she goes, well, I agree with Dorit, so I wouldn't have had your side. I agree with her. So you think she's a bully as well? The same thing that's painting her to be the angry, stereotypical black woman. Keep that in mind, y'all, okay, as we proceed. Moving forward. Garcelle, Rinna doesn't like you. Don't expect ish from her, okay? Don't expect a thing. Rinna does not like you, okay? That is a made-for-TV relationship. She's only going to be nice to you and say little things underneath your Instagram post just so people don't think bad of her. So then Garcelle goes, well, someone said to me that you, Rinna, said that I should have never brought race into this show, that this show is not that kind of show. Honey, she's guilty. Whatever she said she did it. Okay, because I believe that this is something that Rinna would say, allegedly. So she's like, well, why didn't you come to me? Garcelle said, y'all don't come to me. Here go Erica jumping in. But that's a big one. Erica, hang tight, honey. It's almost your time. That first seat got you talking out of turn. Girl, it's not your time yet. She said it. And I know if she would have brought it to Rinna's attention, she would find a way to gaslight her. So, honey, what's the reason I would bring it to you? So you can pretend like you were drunk when you said it? Girl, please. So Rinna said, I would never say anything like that. Garcelle said, I don't know that. Honey, I know that's right, honey, because this has your lips written all over it, Rinna, okay? Moving forward. You've been hitting her with microaggressions all season, so I believe it. The look on Kyle's face says it all, honey. You're guilty. Own it, Rinna. Own it. So then somehow she became the victim. She's like, why do you have it out for me, Garcelle? Rinna, go to hell, respectfully. So then Rinna is like, so where did you get it, Garcelle? She said, I'm not disclosing that. She's like, you were so mean to me all season. It's pretty unbelievable that you just did that. I wish you could use gaslighting as fuel for your car, because Rinna stay full of it. So then Garcelle says, you're going to turn this around on me when I was the one that was hurt? Rinna is like, no, you turned it around. Garcelle was like, no, you did. So Garcelle said, why is this rattling you? Rinna's like, you were so crappy all season and you're not being honest. Why? She's like, because I don't trust you. Then after Rinna gets caught in a lie, she further gaslights Garcelle. And she goes, what you just did and what you insinuated to me shows exactly who you are. Does it? Or does it show exactly who you are, which we already knew as viewers? Girl, please. So then Erica chimes in and she says, you did bring a different element to the show. Sweet baby Jane, please sit back. Just sit back, girl. Sit back, honey. It's not your time right now. Just sit back. So then Rinna had the unmitigated gall to perch her big lips and say, I would like an apology for what you just insinuated to me. Say, what now? Honey, where they do that at? Rena is out of her rabbit mind. Shout out to Kim. Why would she owe you an apology for something we all know you said, allegedly? Child, y'all cannot convince me otherwise. I know Rena said that. It has Rena written all over it, honey. She ain't fooling me. So she's like, well, why didn't you ask me? Garcelle said, would you really have said that to my face? If you did say that, would you really own that? She goes, yes. Here go the peanut gallery, aka Erica. She goes, this one? Yeah. Rena said, look who you're talking to. We are looking at who we're talking to. This is the same woman that pretended to be blackout drunk and needed to be filled in on a party where you were more than coherent. Okay? So no, we don't sit up here and believe that you're going to just say face to face with Garcelle, yeah, I said that. I'm so sorry I said that. Girl, you a bold-faced lie. Moving forward. Andy said, so where do we go from here? Garcelle said, I don't know. Rena said, Garcelle, do you want to move on? Rena said, I would like to see Garcelle, the Garcelle that I knew. Basically, the one where she felt more famous because she was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Garcelle was not. That's the Garcelle she would like back. The one that she feels is beneath her. Child, and she ain't fooling me. So Garcelle said, I want the Rena back that I knew, the warm and the loving one. She's like, I'm not warm. Honey, about as warm as the snow in Pasadena that Erica claimed her son flipped the car in 5 times. No, you're not. You're nowhere near warm, okay? Girl, you're very unlikable. So Rena said, you know, Harry's been watching, and he said to me, what happened to Garcelle? She looks so unhappy. Is she okay? Garcelle is at the peak of her career, honey. Tell your roommate Harry and his acrylic nails to worry about himself, okay? Don't worry about her. She's perfectly fine. She said, do I look unhappy? Dorita's like, I don't say you look miserable, but you check out. She said, check out. Honey, I show up. Here go Erica again. I show up. I do too. I'm showing up. Girl, be quiet. Quiet on the set. Oh, child, somebody get Erica a muzzle. Moving forward. So Rena is like, so why do you hold it with me? Garcelle holds her to a higher standard, she says. She's like, I love you, Garcelle. When we're good, we're great. And Kyle is over there smirking at all the fake love. And Rena's like, I want a mint. Can I sit next to you? Let me just get up and sit next to you. Here go Dorit. She gonna whisper to Crystal. She just wants to show her outfit. Honey, I don't know why, because it wasn't looking like nothing. Moving forward. So Rena got up and sat next to Garcelle. She is trying to prove to us, not even Garcelle, to us, that she didn't make those racial remarks. It was very calculated, very performative. Honey, save it for the soaps, okay? Save it for the soaps, Rena. So she's like, I know you don't trust me or you don't like me, but just give me a chance. So then Garcelle looks at her and goes, you got it. Child, good luck. So then Dorita's like, but do you mean it? Do you mean it, Garcelle? Shut up, Dorit. So Erica was like, don't push it. Dorit gonna look at her and say, I'm not talking to you. Erica said, shut up. Oh, baby, not the girls over there fighting, honey. See, Erica is now used to the girls talking back. Baby, they having a little side fight. Let me tell y'all something. I was so hyper vigilant on this review. I was looking at everything while I was watching this. I'm like, okay, and then Dorit said that, and then Erica said that. Honey, I want to give it to y'all all, okay? Rena is just as fake as her ponytail, honey. She trying to overshadow this BS. So let's move on. Kathy finally joins the girls with her cliff notes. Nice to see you, Kathy. So Andy was like, so why after all your appearances over the years did you finally decide to join the show? Kyle. Moving forward. Kyle's nose job comes up. They show the Halloween prank that Kathy pulled and her reprising her role over 40 years later in Halloween Kills. Now let me just say this. I was a little girl when that movie came out, but Halloween is my favorite scary movie, horror movie, however you want to put it, of all times. Something about Michael Myers in that simplistic jumpsuit with just a mask and a bloody knife, and he doesn't run, he doesn't like sprint, he doesn't do anything. He just shows up behind you, ready to That to me is everything. Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. All of them. I don't care. I mean, some of them were a little bit questionable, but I just love all things Halloween. And to know that Kyle was in that, I was like, okay, Kyle, I didn't know that. Child, that was a fun fact. Moving forward. It's finally Erica's turn. Child, now's your time to speak. And Andy starts talking about all the Tom confusion. He said he found it odd that he didn't read her book and he didn't come to Broadway. She was like, yeah, about the Broadway, I'm not giving him a pass on that because I know he was in D.C. Oh, okay. So no pass for that, but a hard pass for him allegedly stealing from the alleged widows and orphans. Erica truly doesn't realize how she looks when she speaks. Like, I mean, it's crazy. So Andy said, so why not leave sooner if he's cheating? Like, if he was cheating on you, why didn't you leave? She said, I told him straight up. I said, if you love someone else and you don't love me anymore, divorce me and be with her. So Andy said, and what did he say? Nothing. You should have looked at him and said, or what? Or what? And that was the end of the reunion episode. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about part one. Child, I had my pressure up, honey. I had to run this review a little bit longer than I usually like to do for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But honey, the first part of the reunion, they really got into it as they got into it. Y'all comment down below. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.